All right, this is how to transition from Autobidder 2 to Autobidder 3. I'm going to try to make this video as quick as possible and just get through it. So I'm doing this for Barry Little from Little's Pressure Washing in Alabama. He has a few services here, so this will be very simple for us. I just want to note before I get too deep into the video that if you need help doing this, if you are already set up on Autobidder 2, which I know a lot of you are, and you already have your account and you've had it for a year now, um, I want to show you this process of transitioning to Autobidder 3. And I'll also explain throughout the video why we're going to Autobidder 3. Now, if you love Autobidder 2 and you're sticking with it, you can still continue using Autobidder 2. Obviously, Autobidder 3 is much better value. It's the same price. Everything's the same. It's just a much better value. So, like I said, if you need help transitioning, just let me know. I can help you out. You can also set it up yourself, and it's pretty straightforward and easy. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. The first thing is we're going to go to the new Autobidder page. Everything's going to be the same. And actually, when you actually are ready to transition from Autobidder 2 to 3, all you have to do is contact support, let us know, and then, like I said, I'll take care of setting everything up for you and make sure it's a smooth process. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing we're going to do is come over to the new the link, which is instead of www.autobidder, it's rep.autobidder. Once we've fully transitioned into the new system, then this will be different. But oops, sorry, click login. We're going to want to click start free trial. Go ahead and click next. It's going to bring us here. Since I'm setting this up for Barry, I'm just going to enter his info here. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit of a longer password. Okay, now we're going to enter our information. It's pressure washing. And this is kind of important. You want to select your industry because whatever industry you select right here, it's going to pre-populate your account with those service templates. Now, you still have access to the full library, so if you select the wrong one by mistake, it's fine. But here we'll say exterior cleaning, and I don't actually have his phone number right off the top of my head, so I'm just going to, you don't necessarily have to fill this stuff out if you don't want to, but it will become a little bit useful once you start getting it set up later. So I set it up. You get a 14-day free trial. It doesn't ask for a credit card or anything until your trial expires and you make a decision. I'll save that information for right now. Let's go ahead and see. So it added the calculators to my account. And so the first thing I'm going to do is go check out the formulas, and you'll see what formulas were part of that. So because I selected exterior cleaning as the industry, you can see it pre-populated all of these different services like gazebo cleaning, holiday light installation, which that actually shouldn't be in the lighting, the cleaning section, so I'll turn it off. Pool screen cleaning, roof cleaning, driveway cleaning, so on and so forth, right? All right, so that has been pre-populated. We're 10 seconds into the account creation at this point, and we've already loaded up. So if you look back at the old one, we've only got a few little services here. This is going to be very easy, okay? So let's say the first, right? And so right now, you'll notice a lot of differences between these two dashboards, right? This one in Autobidder 3, you can see there's so many more options to the editor. You've got the upsell items, the AI measurement tool, guide video options for each. Well, that one's actually available in the other one too. But so we'll say with house washing, let's go to calibrate page. Okay. I guess the very first thing, before I start diving in, I'll break down the dashboard itself. The dashboard pages are very similar in terms of the pages themselves. Obviously, the layout's a bit different, kind of matured a little bit, I guess you could say. But so the first thing you're going to see here, we're on the calibrate page, you got the pricing info, logic, and design. So those pages are more or less the same here. We've got, it's called formulas instead of pricing. You've got your logic page, which is going to control the function of the form, and then you've got design, which obviously controls the look of the form. And so that's basically it for the similarities there. Now let's go ahead and go into house washing. Now for house washing, let's see, Barry's currently asking for the material, the height, and then the estimated square footage. So we've got material, height, estimated square footage. All right, and then the way this works is you can see that multiplier is selected. So the way this basically works is it takes the material, which let's say it's vinyl, so it's 0.2. It multiplies that by the house height. So if it's one story, it's just 1. If it's 2, it's 1.65. And then it multiplies that by whatever the square footage here. So if you were to take 1,000 square foot, multiply by 0.2, you're looking at 200. And if it's single floor, you're looking at 200, right? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Um, but I'll try to break it down a little bit easier for you, moving on to the next calculator or the next Autobidder. Autobidder 3 makes this calculation much easier because right here you can only choose multiplier. And you don't really have much control over the formula itself. So now let's dive into Autobidder 3, and you see we're asking more or less the same questions. We're asking height, square footage, and material, which I think are the same exact questions here. Except we're also asking an additional question, which is how many sides need washed. Now, Barry may or may not want to leave that on. If you wanted to delete it, all you have to do is exit out or, click this little X here and then delete it from the formula. But right now you can see this formula builder, we're taking the house height, multiplying it by the house square footage, and then multiplying it by the material. So if you wanted to make it exactly the same, we're going to open these up. Okay, so now we got one story. You can see this one is actually 1, and then it's 1.65 for 2 stories. So if you wanted to keep that consistent, when you get up to 2 stories instead of 2, 3, you would make this 0.65. And the split level should probably be, I don't know, 0.45 because it's kind of in between. And then 3 stories, let's say you want to keep that at 2.2, right? And then maybe for fun, just to throw things up a little bit, let's make this 1.1 instead of 1. And that's as time goes on, the year progresses. Maybe you feel like single-story houses should actually be a little bit more than what you've been charging, or a little bit less, whatever. Then you can adjust it right there. All right, so you can see that part's more or less the same actually where it attaches. Now here we've got house square footage. In the old version, we're asking for this in a multiple choice format. You could do the same thing if you like multiple choice format. I prefer the I guess I kind of go back and forth. It depends. Multiple choice is nice, but base number input is nice too. Sort of just depends. Now, house material, I believe that's all more or less the same. We're asking for vinyl, brick, and stucco, 25 cents, 30 cents, and then 28 cents for stucco. So let's go compare that. So here we're charging 20 cents, 23, 25. So we had the prices here a little bit higher, but a little bit lower for the height option. That's all personal preference. So let's just go ahead and test it out. I actually want to put on a few bells and whistles for you guys here just so you can kind of see a clear difference. So here we've got upsell items. We've got gutter branding turned on. The old Autobidder, you don't have this option. You can't use upsell items in the old version. The new version, you can. Also, the AI measurement tool. I'm going to leave this off for right now because I'm going to be using my computer. This is best for people who are using a phone. The AI measurement tool basically allows the user to, first of all, you have to prompt it and kind of train it a little bit. So if this were for house washing, you would explain to the AI, what to look for in house washing and give some references if you have any, okay? And so you can add reference images. And then here's where you would include instructions to the customer telling them what to take a picture of. Again, I'm going to leave this off for this. If you want to see more about that, I have videos specifically going into that tool. But that's one huge difference. Then you also have the option for service image and then guide videos, bullet point highlights, and then service description. A lot of that's the same, it's just formatted a little different. So if we open up house washing here, you can see we've got our base questions. And then we also can go into the logic tab, design tab, just like that. I think, yeah, you can see this is very, very simple. Even the question visibility logic is much easier in the new system. So with that being said, let me just go ahead and I'm setting this up for Barry right now, so I don't want him to get a bunch of Autobidder tests. So I'm going to toggle off email notifications for right now. And then let's go ahead and just test this out. So we're going to say view calculator. Okay, now you can see all the different services. This is a very basic design setup. I mean, you could totally change this blue color, the icons, everything here is customizable. But let's go ahead and say house washing simple. And actually, because that was the name of the title, we'll leave it for right now. But let's just go through it. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of the initial design just for video purposes. So, well, okay, I guess we'll just continue through it. You might be looking at this design and think, oh, this design looks awful. Like the other one's so much better. But that's because this is very raw, like right out of the box. Haven't customized it yet. So let's go ahead and say full house wash, get a quote. I'm just going to say testing, test for the email, get a quote. All right. Now, I didn't have for the form input right there, you can ask for all kinds of other questions, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But Okay, so you see our price, right? 2,300, two-story. So that was a sort of a demo as to how that works. Now you'll see the recommended add-ons right here. Gutter brightening, you can toggle that on, or you can leave it off. You can turn it off, if you want to. And then the scheduling service. Okay, so that was house washing. Let's go ahead and add deck cleaning as well. And I'm just going to add all of the services that he has um, for his business or for his existing auto bidder. I'm going to add all of these services. And then once I've added each of the services, I'm going to show you the differences in the design tab as well as the logic tab. And I actually may update the design really briefly just so it looks a little bit better for you guys for the demo. Okay, so first let's hop into the design editor real quick. That multiple choice one I really need to change. So I want to make the, first of all, I just want to make it auto. I don't want to make it full width. And then I want to make the image a percent. And let's just make like 80%. Okay, and I think I'm okay with that. Excuse me, guys. I have sickness coming on mixed with allergies, so I've been sneezing a lot. Let's see here. Okay, so we got that saved. Let's head back to formulas. Let's see if we have deck cleaning here. Okay, no, we don't. But I believe we have a template. So we'll select templates. Let's go select exterior cleaning, and then let's check. Okay, no, we don't have deck cleaning. Well, not an exterior cleaning. Maybe it's just uncategorized. Let's try that real quick. Okay, so deck cleaning is not a template, so I have to build it from scratch. No issue. You can use AI if you want. So I'll just say calculator. We'll say include the square foot, the material type, give the type of railing, and we'll say also ask the number of stairs. All right, that's going to generate formula. Just give that a quick second. Okay, deck cleaning service. Sorry about that, guys. Allergies killing me. Okay. So deck size, cool. Asked that as a base number. Deck material, it gave us 3 options: wood, composite, vinyl. I think I'll go Trex right here. You can update that however you like. Wood, yeah, 7.5. This, if we're going to go this route, we want this probably to be, I don't know, 0.5. And then Trex, we'll 0.8. Well, Trex will go point, let's go 6.5, I guess. Just for right now, okay? Railing type, also multiple choice. We've got wood, metal, glass. Why did I ask glass? Wood, metal, say vinyl. And then let's also add none. Okay. And maybe we'll just make this 1.1. Metal would actually metal should probably be maybe just slightly less than wood, because wood would be obviously the most complicated to clean. Vinyl would be the easiest, so maybe this would be like, I don't know, 0.35 or something like that. Wood should probably be, yeah, that's probably about right. All right, number of stairs. Yeah, let's just make that a number. Okay. Now, for some reason, it doesn't build a formula right away, so let me just save that. And then let's go ahead and head back to formulas. Just give it a second. Sometime. Yeah, okay, there you go. Ah. Yeah, sorry guys. I'm going to try to cut the part of me sneezing out of it. Okay, no, I added it up here. Okay, deck cleaning service. Okay, so now you see it creates this little formula right here. And actually, the way it built formula, I kind of like it. So it's taking the area and it's multiplying it by the material type. Okay. No, it's adding that. So now you've got railing type and it's multiplying that by 10. So let's go up to railing type. We had the different options here of wood, metal, vinyl. So let's say this select vinyl. Okay, it's multiplying this number by 10. So I'm not a huge fan of that method. Actually, what I had in mind was, let's go ahead and just, well, yeah, let's just go ahead and cut all of this. And then what I had in mind was actually just adding this to the primary formula. And then we'll just say railing type, finish the parenthesis. Now, number of stairs, basically, it's just taking this number and multiplying it by 5. So you're basically charging $5 for every stair. And if it's 0 stairs, then 0 times 5 is 0. And, and okay, so we've got square footage times material times railing type. So if it's I don't know, let's say it's a 300 square foot deck, you're multiplying that by material, this is basically where you're setting your price per square foot at this point. If we do it this way, so 75, 50, Trex 65. Okay, I think that sounds about reasonable. You may want to charge more per square foot for a deck than that. And then, the railing option as well as um, let's see here, make sure we're asking all of them. Okay, yep, all 4. So let's go ahead and save that and let's test that out. Well, actually, let me grab an icon real quick. So choose icon. I think I have a deck icon in there somewhere. Let me just double check. Looks like it's not uploaded to the icon library, but in either case, I could just maybe select this one for right now. Get that other one updated though, so you can choose it. We'll go ahead and save it. Now that we saved it, we just want to go back to the dashboard. And then we're going to click on View Calculator. And let's go check out. Okay, and now you'll see deck cleaning service listed right there, right next to house washing. So we'll select it, and let's just test it out. Now you'll see the updates I made to the multiple choice kind of makes this look a lot better rather than having it one huge row for each item. So now, I don't know, let's just say it's a 400 square foot deck, which is pretty decent sized deck. Composite, that's most common for us. Vinyl, and let's just say it had like 6 stairs or something like that. I'm going to fill in some random stuff here for testing purposes. Okay, now it gives us a price of 300. All right. So yeah, there's deck cleaning. Now let's move on. Roof cleaning, gutter cleaning. I think both of those are actually options already. Now, I also want to show you if you want to turn these services off. I already showed you for house holiday light installation, but let's say you don't want pool screen cleaning, you don't want gazebo cleaning, maybe you do want driveway cleaning, maybe you don't want pergola cleaning, and then let's turn off house wash complex. Well, should we leave house wash complex on? Nah, let's go with the simple version. And then patio cleaning. That icon should be different for patio. That's funny, but okay. Cool. So now let's go ahead and refresh it again. And only those services that are left toggled on should be visible here. All right, so now you can see we only have 5 services. We're getting a little bit closer to what Barry has, right, with his current Autobidder. So we got house, and I actually need to make that just say house washing, turn off the simple part. Yeah, toggle that simple off. There we go. Okay, go back to formulas. Cool. All right. Deck cleaning, house washing, roof cleaning. Detached garage cleaning, patio cleaning. Let's see here. Okay, paver sealing. We can add paver sealing. And then we'll also add gas station wash. I'm going to take a quick break, guys. Got to hit the bathroom, and then I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm back. So we've got roof cleaning and gutter cleaning. We're added as templates, so I'm just going to go ahead and add paver sealing now. Let's go ahead and say new calculator. Now, paver sealing is one of those things that, like a lot of different guys use different types of sealers and they have different sales benefits and tactics that you might want to use. I'm just going to create a very generic sealing one. I'll use basically what we've got here. Let's look at paver sealing real quick. So we're asking the square foot or the surface area, the condition, the finish type that they're looking for, and the color of the sand. You may want to ask other questions, such as like if it's uneven, average spacing in the gaps. There may be a lot of, is it surrounding a pool? What surface type is it? Is it a sidewalk? Is it a patio? Is it a pool deck? Is it a driveway? Does it have oil stains? There's all kinds of other questions you can ask. I'm going to keep it real simple. And then if you want to ask those, I'm going to show you how to do it, right? So let's say for right now, we want surface area, paver condition, finish type, and sand color, okay? Matte, glossy, or finish type, surface. That's what I love about the AI tool is like it doesn't do it 100% perfect, but it saves you so much time because you can go in and ask each of these questions individually, the square footage, the finish type, but then it's a little bit tedious because you have to ask the question, then you have to input each of the answers for it, and you still have to do that to some degree. But this does like 80% of the heavy lifting, and then you kind of just have to come in and clean it up. So here it says area size, finish type. It says matte or glossy. What were we asking here? I think it was saying none as another option. So if you wanted to add another option, it's real simple. Just click the add button and then click none. Sand color. Let's see here. It was asking for natural, tan, and gray, which I think is actually the same that we were asking here. Gray, black, white. Okay, we'll add white as an option. Maybe instead of natural, I'll just say white. Okay. Surface condition. It's asking for good, fair, and poor. Now, you can also go through and save each of these images as well. So, like, if you wanted to, let's just, for one example here, I don't know. Let's say we want, well, here, save image. Click save. Save. You may not be able to see this part of the screen recorder here, but what I'm doing right now is saving these images that are currently in this version, and I'm going to upload them to the new version of Autobidder here. Let's see here. So we got gray. I'm saving the black one, and I'll finish up with the white, and then we'll head over. All right, so I've saved each of those. So now let's head back over here. Well, let's see quick. Okay, so we'll go finish type for matte. Let me go ahead and upload the matte one, which I believe was this one, the glossy one. Again, you may not be able to see that pop-up showing up on my screen because it's only recording the browser, but I'm just selecting the images right now. Sand color. Let's upload the image options here. White, tan, and gray. All right, now I didn't add any pricing details right there. Let me go ahead and, again, I always like to click save. In fact, I should have done that right after I created the template because if you don't click save, it will not save. And it can be very frustrating if you do a lot of work and then accidentally back out of it and then you have to redo it all because it didn't save. It can be very frustrating. All right, so let's see here. Paver ceiling, it was added right here. So now let's go ahead and just test it out again. Let's refresh. Well, actually, I don't think we, let me check the formula. I don't think we set the formula. Okay, I did. Let's see here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and cut that. We're going to take the square footage, and this is the most simple way to create the formula. Just take the square footage, multiply it by the finish type, multiply it by the sand color, and then multiply it by, and then each of these prices basically just multiply the price per square foot, basically. So the finish type is where you'd probably set your base price per square foot. So let's say, matte glossy. So for matte, maybe you want to charge, I don't know, $1.20 per square foot. For glossy, maybe $1.21 or whatever. For none, I don't know, $1.01, I guess. Let's go. Okay, now the sand color, this is where you adjust it slightly. So white might be, I don't know, 1.1. 10 might be, or maybe white will be a little bit 1.2. Maybe 10 will be 1.115. And then maybe gray. Obviously, this just totally depends on which is cheaper. And if they're all the same price, then you just put them all the same price. Surface condition, again, this is sort of where, good, maybe that's 1. Fair, maybe you're charging 1.23, charging is basically 23% more. And then if it's poor, maybe you're looking at like 45% more or something. Again, this is all just a very rough demo just to sort of give you an idea. Oops, I accidentally added an upsell option. What I meant to do was come up here and click save. And now let's go ahead and, okay, now you can see paver ceiling there. Let me see if I have the paver ceiling icon added here. I don't know if I do or not. No, it looks like I don't, but I think we have it added to the old one, so I should be able to go save it. So I'm just saving the icon from the old version. Now let's go ahead and come back in here. And when you need to choose your own icon, you just click where it says upload file icon. You simply just click that, and then you can upload your own icon. You can get them created wherever, and then go ahead and click save. All right, so now you see the paver ceiling is a gear icon right now, but I'm just going to go ahead and refresh that. Okay, now we'll just select paver ceiling. Say area size, I don't know, let's just say it's 450 square foot area. We want glossy. For the sand color, let's go with white, and let's say it's in good condition. It's going to fill in some random stuff here. Okay, spits out a price. If you do paver ceiling, you look at that like, whoa, it's way too low, it's way too high. You kind of saw how I set the pricing up. So, I mean, that's very simple to change and edit whichever way, higher or lower that you need. Okay, so now the final service, I believe, is just gas station washing. Now, let's see. This, it looks like we were just asking for a number of pumps. It's asking 1 to 4. How much concrete do you have? Let's see here. How much concrete? And then this is again a multiple choice. Do you need us to clean the canopy? Yes or no. Do you need us to clean the pumps? Do you need us to clean the storefront building? Okay, well, just to be super lazy, I might I'll just type it out. All right, so let's go ahead and create, we're going to go formulas, new calculate, generate with AI. Let's see how it does with that question. Because I was thinking about it, and I was like, this question you could actually do differently. Instead of just saying, and instead of having 3 questions here, saying, do you need us to clean the canopy? Do you need us to clean the pumps? Do you need us to clean the storefront building? With the new system, this actually becomes a lot easier. Instead, you can just ask 1 question, select all that apply, and then you just mention canopy, pumps, and then the user can just select those ones instead of having to go through and answer 3 separate questions. You just make a multiple choice with multi-option selected, and the user goes through it that way. So let's see what we came up with here. Number of pumps, clean the canopy. So yeah, I'd added these all as all checkboxes, but I'll show you how we can make an adjustment here. So let's say I'm actually going to leave these on for right now, but I'm going to switch this. Instead of this being a checkbox, I'm going to go ahead and make this multiple choice, and I'm going to make this say select all that apply. All add apply. Okay, now we're going to say clean the pumps. Clean the canopy. And then what was the other option here? Clean the storefront. Okay, now I'll delete these two questions. All right. Now, of course, this is where you would add quite a bit more to the price for each of these price values here. If a user selects it, but you can also add conditional questions. So let's say a user selects clean the storefront. You might want to ask a question here and say storefront square footage, right? So you want to know how big this storefront SQFT, all right? And then we'll just say, yeah, we'll just keep it a number. And then we'll just go square foot, add variable. And then what you'd want to do is make this a conditional and then make it so that this one only applies if the select all includes storefront. All right, so, and then yeah, just make the default value 0. Okay, now again, just like usual, click save. I'm gonna go check the formulas again, make sure. Okay, so yeah, cool, actually did. Wait, that was wrong, my fault. Formulas. Let's go over to, where was it? Gas station cleaning. Here. Okay, yeah, see it creates this formula. I don't like how it creates the formula, so we're going to build our formula from scratch. So yeah, the first thing it's asking is just number of pumps. This depends how you want to build it. Let me just think this through logically here. Clean a canopy. This needs to be a multiple choice. And when you select multiple choice, it's going to give you these different green options. So you can assign a value to each individual answer rather than just one at a time. Storefront square feet. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and just build this out as if this were normal. So let's just say number of pumps. Let's just get the number of pumps. How do we want to do this? I guess how we're getting the square footage of the... You know what? I'm going to redo the way that... I'm going to make this select all that apply the first question. And then we're also going to ask concrete. Okay, so just make these all one. So now we got the number of pumps. So this is going to ask clean the pumps, clean the canopy, and the concrete. Okay. Now, take number of pumps. That would apply. Concrete area, that would apply if they select concrete. Storefront square foot. Okay. So now let's just break this down and say if they want the concrete. So we'll put it in parentheses, we'll take concrete per square foot. And this is basically we're going to charge this price per square foot for the concrete. So let's say, I don't know, you charge 25 cents a square foot for the concrete. We're going to plus, and we're going to do number of pumps. So if, so we're going to say number of pumps, and then this is where you charge the price per pump. So I don't know, maybe charge, I don't know, $35 a pump. We're going to add the storefront. Okay, so now we're going to say storefront square foot, and I don't know, maybe charge, I don't know, again, let's just say 24 cents per square foot. And actually, that needs to have a point in front of it for the storefront cleaning. And then finally, and last but not least, the canopy. We could actually ask another question, and this would be square foot of canopy. And there's just be a number, again, square foot. Okay, again, this needs to be conditional, and it should only apply if that first question contains clean the canopy. And then if it does not, the default value will be 0. And now we can come in here and add this part to the equation, canopy square foot. I don't know, maybe we charge another 20 cents, 25 cents per square foot for this. We're going to multiply by 0.25. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got pumps. Number of pumps, square foot concrete. Okay, so now the store square foot, that's conditional. So we can close that. We can close the canopy. The concrete area. Okay, again, conditional and only applies if it includes, I think that we're on concrete, right? Yeah, concrete. Only applies if it includes concrete. If not, the base price is 0. Number of pumps. And now we're up here finally to the number of pumps. And we're just going to take conditional there, select all that apply. If it contains pumps, then this will show. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Go ahead and click save. And now let's go test it. I'm going to head back over to the test page. And we're going to test it. And then real quickly after this, I want to just update the design, just kind of see that process too. So here we got gas station cleaning. So let's select it. Let's say this is where you select all that apply. Let's say gas station owner, they want their storefront cleaned. They want the concrete cleaned. They want the canopy. And let's say the pumps. Let's say they want it all. Let's say there's, I don't know, let's say it's a small gas station, 6 pumps. Let's say they've got 2,000 square feet of concrete. Their storefronts, I don't know. Let's just say it's a small storefront, 1,100 square feet. And then the square foot of the canopy covers the pumps. I don't really know what it would be, but let's just say, I don't know, it's 800 or something like that. Get a quote. Test. 1,100. All right. If you clean gas stations for a living, you look at that price and maybe like, that is way too low, or that is way too high for everything. You saw how I built the formula. So you can totally control that entire process. You could also add upsells to the gas station cleaning right here if you wanted to. You can also add the measure map. For this, I would probably turn the measure map on actually, so that a user can measure. I don't know if he had it turned on or not. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he didn't. It doesn't look like he had measure map turned on, but you can turn the measure map on. I would definitely turn it on so that the customer can measure their property. All right, then we'll click save. So now briefly, I want to refresh this to show you the measure map, but before I even get to that, I want to touch on design very quickly. So service selectors, you'll notice right here, his are yellow. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because I have videos dedicated to this that you can watch. And like I said, I do want to keep this video as short as I can, although it's already getting pretty long. What I can do is I can just come in here to the calibrate page. Actually, I think would be under design, and let's go service selector. You've got this color right here. I'm just going to come in and copy this hex code, and then this will allow me to use the same exact color over here on the background. So we'll paste that in, and then yeah, I think that's actually the selected color. The start color is this. So let me go ahead and use the starter. Well, I'll just make this the border color here for a brief moment. Now let me go ahead and copy this, and then we'll go to active background color, paste that in, border, paste that in, and then background color, we'll make that to start. And then once you select it, it turns yellow. Okay, I'm pretty cool with the height. I think I want to, see, card spacing. I think I want to cut that card spacing a little bit. All right, now let's go ahead and click save. And then if you want to, maybe just for fun, I'll update the text area too, so that you can see how this would also vary. Okay, let's make this and then we'll make the border color that same yellow color. Now let's go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and head back to fresh. All right, so now you can see that. Now you can sit around and play with the design editor as much as you want. Again, I don't want to focus too much of the attention on design here, but let's go ahead and select gas station cleaning. Just clean the pumps, clean canopy. Now you can see how that has that sort of yellow color. I didn't update the multiple choice or the button, so that's still that blue color. But let's say somebody, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just want their pumps and their canopy clean, which I think 9 times out of 10, Barry, at least when he's doing the concrete or he's doing gas stations, it's almost always the concrete. So let's go ahead and say concrete. Let's say, I don't know, maybe this is a bigger one. Maybe this one has 12 pumps. Maybe this concrete is 4,000 square feet. And then the square foot of the canopy is like 1,200 or something like that. Get a quote. I'm just going to put some more test info in right here. Okay. 1,700. So still, in my opinion, that seems a little bit low. Again, if you feel like it's low, remember, I think we were only charging 20 cents per square foot. So 0.2 times 4,000, whatever that is, that's like 800. And then, plus the price of the canopy, which is also only 20 cents per square foot. So that was pretty low as well. So that's why that price is what it is. So you can easily update that if you need to be higher. All right. So that was pretty much covers adding the services. I think we got all of the services imported. Now it's just a matter of, customizing the design. That is kind of a tedious process. Like it's pretty simple though. Like you can see, you can easily control each of the different elements of the form. Now the tricky part can be the logic. So let's just briefly cover the difference in logic. So on the standard, this is what the logic page looks like on the standard Autobidder. And on first glance, it actually appears like, oh, this is much more simple. The new version is much more complicated. And it does seem that way on the surface, and maybe to some degree it is, but with the new version, you have a lot more control. And it's much easier to use long term once you've actually got everything set up. So this is basically just a bunch of toggles. You have sales tax at max distance. These are some of the things that are very similar. The disclaimer, the what next link, step by step. These different options, they allow booking, the measure map. The measure map is actually built into each formula now. You can turn that on a formula by formula basis rather than at a account level basis. Lead collector, this is toggle on. The new version you'll see is more sophisticated than that. The notes section and so on. So now let's go into the new section. All right, so this is what the new section looks like. You see we've got an option for progress bar, which is this little thing up here. You can toggle that off if you like. We have enable booking turned on, but in order to actually accept booking, you have to set it on the calendar page. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on this because it could, again, make the video much longer. And I have a whole section dedicated to this portion here at the calendar. With that being said, though, back on the logic page, here's where you've got your different titles, so you can set different titles along. This has a little SEO effect, so you kind of want to, you can either turn these off or you can kind of make use of that if you want. A secondary button, this is basically like the what next button on the other version. You can make it say whatever you want as well as link it wherever you want. Your lead capture message, so this is the message you show to customers once they've gotten their pricing, sort of like the disclaimer message, and then you also got the thank you message. The bundle pricing, so this is something that I think we had on the other plan, but you had a little bit less control over it. This is where you can set minimum number of services as well as the discount price. So, if, 10, 20, whatever. Right? And then you can turn that off if you don't want it on. Now you've got customer discounts. This is where you can set your, if you add a discount, you can set military discount, elderly discount. You give it a name, give it a description, and give it a percentage. And then if you want discount stacking, this would be where if you have, let's say, elderly and military, and someone happens to check both of those boxes, instead of getting just, I don't know, if you had this set to 5%, instead of just getting the 5, they would get 10. If assuming they're both at 5%. So that's a big difference there. Guide videos, this is where you can paste your videos in. It's just a little bit of a cleaner layout, easier to use. You paste in, you have to paste the video to YouTube or Vimeo or any hosting platform actually. And then you just grab the link to the video and paste it in right here. And then it would show up on that section of the form, either on the very introduction, the pricing page, or the booking page. Here you've got sales tax. Again, it's just a little bit cleaner layout than the old version. Here's where you got your pricing disclaimer. The other ones were actually just messages. This is a disclaimer that shows up at the end. Here you've got the lead contact information. So instead of just having one toggle, you've got name, email, phone, address, notes field. how did you hear about us, and image upload. You can toggle these on and make them required. So you can, if you want to add notes field, but you don't want it to be required, well, actually, that's not even an option, but you can toggle notes on. How did you hear about us? You can make that required if you want to. And then same with image upload, make that required, which I wouldn't do personally, but if you want your customers to have that option, then they can upload their images. Then we've got location-based pricing, so it's a bit more sophisticated in the other version. The other version, it's like if they're outside of your range, it just doesn't show them the pricing. This, you can enable distance-based pricing. So let's say you set your service area at 50 miles. If someone is outside of that range, you can charge a fixed amount per mile. So if they're 100 miles away, we charge them $2.50 per miles. $2.50 times, or yeah, $2.50 times 50. Or you can charge a percent of the quote per mile. Say you want to charge 1% per mile. So if it's 10 miles out of the range, it would be 10% more. 100 miles away would be 100% more. Okay. So that's basically how that would work. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much the update to the logic page. That's one of those things where you're going to have to explore it a little bit. And I have other videos specific to this that goes into more detail. Now, the stats page, that's pretty basic and easy. The leads page, more or less the same, just looks a little different. The calendar page is quite a bit more advanced now, but you still have a lot of the same things, setting your schedule. The settings is changed a little bit. Well, that's more so being compiled in with the profile page. And then the website page is a bit more sophisticated, but that's also a separate entity, from Autobidder itself. So I'm not going to fixate too much on that, but that was just a brief demo, guys, as to how you can go about transitioning from the old version to the new version. It's pretty straightforward. And then if you're already on a paying subscription, just contact support, let me know, and then we'll go ahead and transition from the old one to the new one for you so that there's no hiccups for you as it pertains to using the platform. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys in this one. I'm wrapping it up a little bit earlier. I know it's at 48 minutes now, but like I said, if you have any other questions on the platform, please leave a comment. Please reach out, and I'll try to make video for you specifically. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.